The promise they sell is not the world they build. Opening word to Vic M. Vic, I read your comment with care. You describe Marxism, communism, and socialism as if they are neat steps on a gentle ladder. You say one uses violence and the other uses democracy. You say one ends wealth and the other protects people from poverty. You make big promises for these systems, but you offer no proof that they work in the real world. Every country that tried these ideas moved toward the same center. The state takes control, and the people lose the freedom that God gives them. What Marxism really teaches. Marxism holds that workers own the means of production. That sounds noble until you look at the theory. Marx did not define worker control as a family owning a shop or a rancher owning land. He meant that a collective group run by a political vanguard would seize all economic power. Marx himself wrote that this process requires struggle and force. It creates a new ruling class that claims to speak for the masses, but controls them through fear. No free market, no private ownership, no room for individual calling or creativity that Scripture affirms when God tells us to work with our own hands. What communism becomes in practice. Communism says that the state holds all tools, land, and resources for all. That ends private property, and that is not a debate. Marx and Lenin both said that private property keeps man free from the state, so it must be destroyed. The result is predictable. The state becomes the owner of every harvest and every wage. The people live under rationing and force. Communism denies the biblical picture of stewardship, where God entrusts the land to families, tribes, and individuals. Scripture honors personal labor and personal reward. Communism replaces that with compulsory obedience, what socialism claims but never delivers. You say socialism makes sure no one is poor while allowing some to be rich. You offer no evidence that this has ever worked. Every time a state takes control of healthcare, housing, and education, the cost rises, the quality drops, and the government grows. History repeats itself. Socialism needs more taxes, more rules, and more central planning to sustain itself. That is, control. You say socialism is chosen through democracy. That still does not change what it does once it has power. A vote that hands the state your freedom does not protect your freedom. Why your claim lacks proof. You say socialism ensures no one is poor. Show me the country where that took place. Show me a system where central planning lifted people higher than free enterprise did. The poor in America live with comforts and options that the middle class in socialist systems do not enjoy. You also say socialism protects the rich. Yet every socialist movement uses class division and resentment to target private wealth. Your claim that socialism avoids force is not supported by the nations that moved from socialism to communism. Venezuela, Cuba, and others followed that path. These are not outliers. They are evidence, the biblical view of work and freedom. God created work before the fall. Work is part of human dignity. Scripture teaches that a man who works should enjoy the fruit of his own labor. The Bible respects private property. The commandment against stealing affirms that individuals own things that others cannot take from them. God gives families their land and their inheritance. Marxism denies this. Communism denies this. Socialism erodes this. Each system moves the authority of daily life away from the home and upward toward the state. That is control. Why control is the common thread. Marxism takes control through force. Communism keeps control through the state. Socialism expands control through policy. The style changes. The goal does not. The individual becomes smaller. The state becomes larger. These systems need power for their vision. They need planners, bureaucrats, regulators, and party leaders. They do not trust people to run their own lives. They do not trust families to decide.